Did you know Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference is coming soon? In fact, it's coming on June 13th. WWDC is where Apple officially unveiled the next version of their operating systems, whether it's been the next version of OS X or iOS, and this year should be no different, but I'm expecting a lot more to come from Apple than just on the software side. So these are 5 things you can expect from Apple's WWDC. Let's start with the most obvious, new iOS 10. Every year, I feel like this is the year Apple's gonna just redesign things and it's gonna be super awesome. And every year, I'm just left going like, that was nice. And I'm starting to learn from my mistakes. I don't think we're gonna see a drastic overhaul of iOS. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But judging by the earnings, it's like a little bit broken. Things you can expect, more 3D touch integration throughout the entire bit of software. Improved notifications, hopefully with more interactivity built in. Better home screen notifications, I think would be really nice for a lot of people. And I'm still hopeful that maybe we'll have interactive icons, not really widgets, but some sort of interactivity built into the icons on the screen. Other than that, I'm not really holding my breath for too much more from iOS 10. Let's stick with software for number 2. OS X is getting an update and perhaps a new name. We are currently on OS 10.11. The next version, if you can do math, will be OS 10.12, and that's just an unsexy name. We've seen references on Apple's own website to Mac OS. I think that's what OS X is going to be called, Mac OS. Not sure exactly what it's going to be, but you can expect more Siri integration. It's been a big glaring hole in Apple's desktop operating system for a while. We've seen what Microsoft has done with Cortana. I'd expect Siri to make a big showing in Mac OS. And a wild card here, touchscreen support? Big time wild card, Bob? I'm hopeful. And the next one, something happening with the MacBook Air. Although I'm putting my bet on it being just the death of the MacBook Air. Apple's lineup is a little weird now. On one end, you've got a really thin, underpowered, overpriced MacBook with a high resolution screen. And then you've got the MacBook Air, more powerful, now with upgraded RAM inside of it, with a low res screen. And then you've got the MacBook Pros, at least on the 15-inch side, with 2 generations outdated processors. It's a very weird, outdated kind of lineup. The MacBook Air no longer makes sense in Apple's lineup. And I said this in the past, even though it just got a few extra gigabytes of RAM, I expect a MacBook Air to go the way of the Cube, the Newton, the Pippin, the Scotty, and the Jordan, and to be retired, and there'd be no more MacBook Air. Before anybody gets too sad about the MacBook Air, I think the update we've all been waiting for is coming. Redesigned MacBook Pros! Finally. So here's what you can expect for the new MacBook Pro. First, a redesign. Thinner, lighter, faster. That kind of goes par for the course for Apple. New I/O. USB Type-C / Thunderbolt support. I don't think that's going to be the only port they're going to have on the MacBook Pro. I think we're going to see legacy I/O. So we'll have USB 3.0. I think Thunderbolt, the traditional Thunderbolt port, is going to go away. And I think we're still going to have the SD card, at least I'm hoping, but that's probably likely to be swapped out. I also probably have colors. It would make sense if we keep the casing the same size, but increase the screen size. So a 15-inch MacBook Pro would be a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and the 13-inch would go to 14-inch. And keep it inside of the same case with thinner bezels. And also, of course, high resolution displays and support for Intel 6th generation Core i chips. And last but not least, probably the least sexy of all the updates, new software. Next generation of watchOS and tvOS. I wouldn't hold your breath for anything like Apple Watch 2. I'm always hopeful that Apple will have a wild card. I still would love to have a gaming Mac, maybe some crazy updates in the Mac Pro. Maybe we'll see an Assistant like we have with Amazon's Echo. All that stuff I know is wishful thinking, but I'm hoping that there's one more thing that Apple can debut that'll surprise all of us. So what do you guys think? What are you excited about? WWDC, anything that's super jazzy for you can't wait to have happen? Or are you more Fresh Prince and just too cool for school and don't care? Leave your comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Give the video a thumbs up. I always appreciate it. Until next time, I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. Talk to you next video. Everyone's got an idea for the next killer website, but knowing how to build one is a totally different story. In fact, the very first version of john4lakers.com I built using Squarespace. You're going to get a site that looks professionally designed regardless of your skill level, which at the time I had 0. They give you really intuitive, easy-to-use tools, and you're also going to get a free domain if you sign up for a year. If you want to get your website off the ground, you want it to be good-looking, functional, and stable, be sure to check out Squarespace. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Enter promo code TECHNO and get 10% off at checkout.